Hello again everybody and welcome back. Welcome back to our bronze, silver and gold frequent flyers as well, of course, and anybody new watching for the very first time, very warm welcome to you guys as well. Thanks for tuning in and taking a look at the channel. Hope you enjoyed today's stream. We're continuing on the Scenic South America tour today with FlyUK Virtual Airlines, and we're in the Aerosoft CRJ at La Paz, Bolivia, 14,000 feet altitude for today. You'll have to excuse the strange spawn position. That's Microsoft Flight Simulator for you at its finest. But there we are on the stand, looking shiny in the sun. And if you watched the previous video, you guys will remember landing was a little bit tricky, and also you can see here as well, actually almost on the screens, the runway is sloped, so we're actually taking off uphill today. So we're at 13,000 feet altitude already, and we're also taking off uphill, so we're going to be pushing the aeroplane quite a bit today. Mats, hello. Thomas, hello to you. Exo, welcome. There's there 3 guys over there spawned in. Let's go to the aircraft page and get rid of the ground power cart, and that's already turned itself off. Jolly good. Let's remove the chocks. Let's disconnect the ground air cart first, actually. There we go. And let's close the door. Thomas before Mats again, yeah. There we go. You can see the slope that the airport is on already, actually, by using this external camera view. It's quite a substantial hill.
Before takeoff, we would like to encourage all passengers to watch
6.8 takeoff trim.
the safety features of the aircraft.
There we go. I thought the stream was finished. No, come on. So here we go. 6.8 on the stab trim, and our route today, a little bit of a strange one as well. We're departing and we're flying a bit of a strange departure, which the sim doesn't quite recognise because of this little gap between the airport, the PAZ VOR and the route. But if I show you Navigraph, it's probably the best way to show you guys. We're going to be departing up towards the mountains here, the hill here. Tracking that VOR at 5.5 miles, we're then turning right slightly to then intercept a radial of 166, which should be that line there. So this first section of it, I'm going to have to fly myself. And then we're flying this ARPIS 7 departure to flight level 190, which is 55 nautical miles away from La Paz. Actually, it's a radial of 153 degrees, sorry. And then we're on the Uniform Whiskey 6 or Whiskey 6 airway for a little while. There's the airport. We're at between stand 6 and 5, but Microsoft Flight Simulator stuck us right in the middle and thinks it's at stand 1. But that's not too much of a worry for us. So that's what we can expect. Whether we achieve that or not is another matter entirely. But you can see ARPIS there, so as long as we take off, turn right, we zoom in enough, actually we can kind of see that guidance line. So it's telling us at that point we need to be turning to then intercept the flight plan route, which is good. And we're using nav2 to track the VOR, and we've got VOR2 selected there in the blue arrows on the nav display and the PFD wheel. V1 today is at 128, but it's important to remember, like last time, the aircraft doesn't have the ability to calculate V speeds at such a high altitude for an airport, so actually we're going to have to probably add 10 knots potentially, but we'll see what happens when we go. Let's get rid of that armrest. We've got our stab trim 1 and 2 engaged, and we've got Mach trim engaged, and yaw damper 1 and 2 engaged as well. That's how you solve the autopilot problems for those of you who find that it disconnects. And everything else is ready to go. So we've got our radio page ready, our legs, there we are. And you can see that ARPIS 7 departure, runway 10 at La Paz. And we're heading down to Tucuman. Those of you flying with FlyUK as well, flying along today, make sure you've started your SkyTrack. And actually, I want to make sure I've got VNAV switched on too. Don't need any fixes. And there's our route. Performance page, flex temp 46. There we go. We're already above 10,000. And the more speed, the better at altitudes. Hypercritical wing or supercritical wing in the CRJ, of course. Interesting route, yeah, it is actually a really nice one, but it's pretty much due south. I'll show you Navigraph again. Let's go on to daytime mode.
Hello, mate.
Hey, Thomas, thank you very much. Cheers for your donation. It would help if I actually added this in to Navigraph. There we go, jolly good. So, departing, flying that radial, and then you can see we're pretty much flying down to that waypoint there, which is Imbam. Udine, out of Bolivia into Argentina, and then we're descending down to Tucuman Airport in the north of Argentina. So pretty much just a straight line for us today, quite nice. UM6776. Let's see what happens if I add some of these departures in, shall we? Where have we got here? So, runway 10, departures, RPIS 7. So you can see that slight discrepancy there. We'll go RPIS to Iltex. That's what I've got planned. Oh, actually, better make sure I've pulled my flight plan ready. So, La Paz traffic Skyways 4944 radio check. QNH 1037.
Reading your 5.
Cheers, you two. Flight Aviation, hello, welcome to you.
Radio check, Skyways 180.
Readability 5. So, we're at stand 6.5, I think. We'll go with stand 6.5. Yeah, why not? La Paz traffic Skyways 4944 is at stand 5.5, and it's push and start onto Bravo.
Do we need to backtrack like everyone on the runway?
Could you if you want. Boost, boost. APU's on. Let's get beacon. See if the signs are on auto, and we've got, let's check our messages here. Cabin out warnings high, I've set the landing elevation to the
Skyways
same.
188 is pushing back.
And Pushback Express. Flight Aviation, good man, thank you very much. Reese, just loading in, awesome, no problem. We'll take our time for you. Pilot UK.
It's been some time since last time I donated.
Hey Mats, thank you very much. Wow, nice, £20. That's really kind of you. Thank you very much. Always appreciated. All the tips.
Ground. Go ahead, flight deck.
We are ready for pushback and engine
Let's get the
start.
show on the road.
Roger. Release the parking brakes, please.
Parking brakes released.
Spanish speaking
Push it back.
or English speaking Spanish voice today. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to get out of this strange position that it's put us put us into here. You can see it's uphill as well, quite a bit. And last time when we were taxiing in, we needed about 50%.
Traffic Skyways 188. I will push back all the way onto Bravo, so you guys can push back them.
Doctor on board, welcome. Nope. Well, I don't think I was. I can't remember what time I set now. Oh yeah, you know what? I set 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, didn't I? Whoopsie. Continue
You're clear
ignition.
behind, and you can start your engines at your discretion.
Yeah, guys, if you're watching and you want to fly along, then let me know. It is normal time, yeah. What I've ended up doing is scheduling it bizarrely for 2 o'clock when I meant 1 o'clock. Okay, I think we've managed that turn nicely. Just about working there, and how have we got here? 24%. Let's unclick that. Try and reposition there. Yeah, fat fingers there, Doctor on board, I think. FlyAviation is no problem at all. Watching the M1 come up there, we're watching the fuel flow, oil temperatures, oil pressures, and everything wants to be in the green really.
Ladies and gentlemen, please pay attention as we display the safety features and procedures of the aircraft in case of an emergency. During an emergency, please
Pushback
remain in your
complete.
seat with
Set
your
parking
seatbelt
brakes,
fastened
please.
and your
Park brake
seats in
set.
the upright position.
Parking brake set.
Left engine start.
Roger. Okay, the two bars is connected and the keypad is clear. We will see you in the left side with a big...
Reese, it's absolutely no problem at all. We're going to be a little while.
Thanks, have a good flight. See you later.
Never been to New York. I would absolutely love to though. I've been to Boston, San Diego, a few other places.
You'll be instructed to get into the brace position, which is executed by placing your head between your knees.
Let's
with your hands over your
ignite
head.
the engine, shall we?
We would also like to remind you that you should turn off all electronic devices. We thank you for paying.
Juliet Mike, I'll wait for the Airbus to join outside.
We've sold our first bit of merchandise as well via Teespring, which is awesome. So Alberto, who was in the stream yesterday from Chile, has gone ahead and purchased a mug, which is awesome. Very exciting. So that's on its way down to Chile for him.
That's terrific. Is there actually like a waiting area at the end of runway 10 or not?
Negative. So engine 1 and 2 stable, everything's in the green.
Negative, I think it's just a turning circle, so we'll all have to wait on the taxiway and while everybody takes off and then enter the runway.
Flaps 8 for departure. Spin our heading bug around a little bit there to try and get that onto nearer to runway heading. And we've got our altitude set 19,000. Thrust reversers armed. And we've got our V speed set 128, so we're going to target 150, which is 10 over V2. And we're not going to want heading, we're not going to want nav mode, I should say, we're going to want heading mode. Nose wheel steering on. And that's still 6.8, so good stuff.
Maybe we can do 2 by 2, no?
The PAZ traffic Skyways 4944, taxiing to hold point Alpha, runway 10. Doctor on board, oops, almost.
That's traffic, Skyway 180 is also taxiing to holding point Alpha.
How's that? Hopefully a little bit better. So I'm just rolling here now, just take the brakes off and rolling. Flaps 8. We can turn the APU off. Although at altitude, I think we should leave it on. Continuous ignition can come off. Reese, I'd slew it. There's a Spirit. Oh, there we go, he's moving out the way for you now, Reese, anyway. Winds are variable at 2 knots at the moment.
I've just been gobbled up by a 320.
So rolling with no power at all. And now we've got to go uphill. Tace, hello, welcome. That's all set. And, oops, got to be conscious here. We're going to have to put more power in. Otherwise we're going to stop rolling backwards. I'm not sure if Paul has picked up yet. This is quite a bit of power now I'm putting in. What are we at? 58% N1 to get up the hill. I forgot how hilly this airport was. I'm at 60% N1.
I'm going downhill, I am. I'm going to slam the brakes on.
Well, you better don't roll back on me.
Right, let's see, that's all set, that's all armed. They're on low, so we're good. Probes are on. Gens are all on auto. Hydraulics are on auto as well. La Paz traffic, Skyways 4944 is backtrack from Alpha down runway 10. Strobes. Forgot to put the old landing taxi light on, I mean. Now we're going back downhill.
Blimey, I need a push, I do.
Flight aviation, that's not good.
You reckon we can, like, backtrack with you? Skyway 1808.
Alberto, hello, our first merchandise customer. Welcome. Thanks for purchasing. I'm glad it worked out in the end for you as well. Let's see. I don't remember there being much of a space down the bottom here to fit in anybody else. Of course, unless they want to go off-road. Cabin altitude warning, that's because we're so high. Usual cabin pressure's at 8,000 I think, isn't it? But this is 13,200. It's a long runway, but I feel like we're going to use most of it, if I'm honest. Yeah, Alberto, thank you. It's a long runway. Performance-wise, the engines are going to be struggling because we are so high up. There's obviously less oxygen in the air. But I think I can make it with flaps 8 departure. We're about to find out anyway. At least this is allowing people to catch up. So Paul, I've caught by surprise because my stream schedule time was wrong. I wonder if I can change that manually now. Apparently so. There we go. We'll pretend like that never happened. Oh, it's actually not yeah, so that's not letting me change the time. Maybe I could try 13:30. Yeah. No turning circle at all, really, down the bottom here. Reset, runway 10.
Ladies and gentlemen,
into China.
advised that we are now cleared for takeoff.
I forgot how long the runway was. Let's get all of these on. La Paz traffic, Skyways 4944. Departing runway 10. On an ARPIS 7 departure. There's everybody down there. God, I'm having to push uphill again. Come on. Wow. We are pushing it. Toga. Let's just keep her rolling here, shall we? 60% and 1. Toga. Oops. Thrust set. $60 knots, good grief. Come on, we're pushing this uphill. 80 knots, come on. Guys, it's a long takeoff run. I did warn you guys. You know what, let's use max thrust. We need to get up. Because we are running out of runway. Having the patience is key. V1. Rotate. Deposit rate, go up. Cool, it's us to struggle. There goes the guys. Airborne. Whoops.
The best traffic, Skyways 1808, spec tracking runway 10.
Let's resync heading mode here. Heading, speed, autopilot engaged.
Don't sink.
We're not. Let's just put
Don't
max
sink.
power in for now, shall we?
Don't sink.
The PAZ traffic radio test.
Readability 5.
Thanks a lot. This is Spirit Wings 5182 pushing back onto Alpha.
Just manually fly this a little bit.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now serving sandwiches.
There we are, let's get that in the climb gate, shall we? We'll do 210. That's really quick for sandwiches. Armani, good morning. Tace, I've got a few tutorials. I'm not sure if I've got a A320 startup routine, but I've got something. I've certainly got one for this Aerosoft CRJ. There's La Paz down there. And look at all those mountains. We didn't see that on the way back, and it's stunning. Let's get rid of the flaps. let's just check the flight deck here because we could very easily get sidetracked. There we are. So we want to try and intercept this radial, which is what we're working towards now. So if we go to nav mode, it should start to line us up quite nicely. And then we'll continue our climb up to 37,000, which is our cruise altitude for today. And we're in climb. Let's let that speed increase a little bit, shall we? We'll do 230. It just gives everybody the opportunity to catch up as well. What fantastic scenery. What other views have we got here, folks? Let's see. Look at that. Taste, yeah, check them all out. We've got loads.
Traffic Spearwing 5182, taxiing to runway 10 Alpha.
That's stunning. This, in a way, has actually made us, it's forced us to be quite, have quite a bit of separation, about 5 minutes per departure. And I'm just going to fly at 230 knots for a little while, so everybody can catch up. Extends the flight time a little bit as well. See, because I set the wrong time. Whoops. Got Volanta working though. Look at that. That is amazing. I'd like to keep you all on your toes. ETA at 1425 apparently, although that will come down a little bit once we increase our speed slightly. We should be above transition, we are, so pop that out of the way, click in the centre there to go standard pressure and standard pressure. What we can also do is look at SANT, open charts, approach, let's just click one, and airport elevation of 1,494. So let's get this down so the cabin can depressurise back to a more suitable. We can turn the APU off as well now. What that does is it gives us more power. So we had the APU on, and that was bleeding the aircraft. Air conditioning. Gridman, hello. Is bleeding the air conditioning and the pressurization system through the APU instead of the engines. So actually we were getting 5-10%, around about 5% more power. And then in the CRJ you've got to manually change your landing elevation, so that's going to help bring everything down. So actually we're depressurising the aircraft, really. Yeah, there you go, because it's now depressurising to 10,800. That'll do until we get a bit later into the flight. So let's reset the heading bug, make sure that's always central. Those of you who want to buy merchandise, if you've got issues checking out, then it might be that you're using Chrome. Chrome can be a little bit playful at times. The dog's going to go mad, the new Hoover's turned up. Doctor on board. Fact is, he already pushed back after 8 minutes online. He could not wait apparently. Well, it didn't take me too long to set up, and before I stream, most of the time I set up in advance, so pretty much most of it's done. It's only because I accidentally set 1400 instead of 1300. EXO's finding out that it's certainly a difficult departure. We only just made it off the runway really. We were struggling to climb because we were fighting an uphill runway as well. $29,000 feet. Love the scenery around here. Microsoft Flight Simulator is stunning for South America. Really is. Reese, no, it's all good. It's a little bit of a strange departure path, like you say there. I'm going to do about 250 knots to try and let the other guys catch up still. Just a quick little V-Pilot Unicom message. 10 miles from Arpis at 250 knots so everybody can catch up. You know what we also need to do? Close the APU door. So we don't need the bleed air anymore. Alberta, yeah, the scenery's stunning, but yeah, like you say, not many developers do bother with it, sadly. I think it's, you know, if you make a good point actually. If you were to get maybe one or two key pieces of scenery, it'd be quite good, wouldn't it? David A, good morning to you. Hope you're okay. I got my stream times wrong today. I should have noticed. It's been listed for a week. Christo, hello. Welcome to you. You'd have to join the next giveaway. We might be giving away another CRJ. EXO. Of course they did. I think maybe we can position this like a GoPro. Let's see how far this can go. Oh no, it's just sitting on the glare shield almost. Alberta, yeah, they've made Rio look fantastic though, I've got to say. Look at that down there. Love scenery like this in the sim. EXO, I had to use max power for a little while until I was clear. EasyJet Sim Pilot, good morning, good afternoon rather. Hope you're well. David, yeah, got my. I think I listed this for 2 o'clock stream time, which is a bit bizarre. I don't normally do that. Reset the heading bug, and that cabin altitude's coming down nicely now that we've played around with that. That's reminded me as well. Disarm those. So now instead of red, we've got orange, which is all good. That'll get down to about 8,000. And we're still climbing away. 230 knots. Hopefully everybody can catch up quite nicely in that sense. EXO. 1808, yeah, I was max power, almost flew into the city. It's a close one, isn't it? Because it is, it's all uphill, so you're trying to take off and climb away in high altitude with, you know, engines that are struggling and everything else, and everything in front of you is also going uphill. So you're sort of almost fighting a losing battle, and you're needing more power just to stay away from the terrain. Alberto, you have to let me know what you think of the merchandise when it arrives to your house. Very exciting. I did hear actually you were having issues with Windows with the last update. I've noticed I've lost about 10 FPS with the latest Windows update as well, so not particularly promising. Altitude capture. Quick little Unicom message, are we all up? Look at that ridge. Look at that, that's fantastic. 2 more of us on the ground. There we are, I'm doing max 70. And we'll just stick with that so everybody can catch up. So our ground speed, 406. No, 402. We should have contrails now as well. Let's have a look. No, we don't. We're just within that threshold of no contrails. It's funny, I was on Discord yesterday having a chat with a few of you guys, and we were discussing how I almost didn't bother with the CRJ, didn't bother getting it. Never been a fan of regional jets, but I'm absolutely sold on this. I think it's brilliant, love it. Works really nicely as well. Woof woof. No PTU with the CRJ, of course. The ground down there. Winds are variable actually, so in a way, the guys that are still yet to depart, there comes some contrails popping in. You could do runway 28. That's stunning. What is that down there? That's incredible. Like a salt lake? Not quite sure. I'm gonna have to find that on Google Maps. That massive lake there as well. Doesn't help with not only me getting my timings wrong for the stream by an hour, but Also, the really long backtrack on the runway required. That doesn't help either. Maps.google.co.uk. Let's have a little look here, shall we? Try and find what that little blip of land is. Bolivia, La Paz. Scenery here is so good. So potentially, well, the lake that's coming up to us is Lake Ururu. There's the bridge that I was on about, and the lake thing, Colchamarca. Definitely saying that wrong. We've got Lago Ururu and the town above it of Ururu, which is here, and that's the lake. That then feeds into, in fact, is that, oh no, that's Lake Ururu there, and this is Lago Pupu. I'm not even joking. Or Pupo. P-O-O-P-O with a little flick at the top. Next to the town of Pelini and Chalapata on the other side. Love Google Maps for exploring this sort of stuff, this part of the world. All 5 departed, awesome. So not too bad at all then really. How long have we been up for? 20-30 minutes. David, not at the moment, got up too late. That's no worries. Oh, you know what, I need to check my speed. Going to start flying with you guys though, not the CRJ yet, need to learn the systems. Check out my tutorials playlist for that, hopefully that helps you pick up some of that. Let's do max 7.3 I think, that's going to help people catch up. So that speed naturally bleed off. Cap Paul D, good afternoon, hope you're well. Paul, no problem at all. David, hello, hope you're okay. Alberto, how best to pronounce that then? Because I'm sure it shouldn't be pronounced Lago Pupu. Pupo? Lago Pupo, maybe. It's probably a bit more realistic. Need to work on my Argentinian. XO, I'm the same. Anything below A320 size, I've always been a little bit hesitant about, I think. But I love it. This massive window is really good for visuals as well. You get to really enjoy the scenery. Divin, hello, welcome. Reese barely got off the runway. Yeah, it's tough, isn't it? It doesn't help. It's uphill as well. And the high altitude ends up making you need the entire runway length almost. So I only just got up to taxiway Alpha. That's twice as long for a runway, a takeoff run, than is usually required. Look at that. That is spectacular. Yes. Thanks, Alberto. I'm bound to get loads of that wrong. Reese, you now have a cabin pressure warning. That's because the airport itself is over 8,000 or so feet, 7,000 feet. So you can see now my cabin altitude's only just restabilised. I've set the landing elevation to Argentina, to Tucuman Airport, which is 1,120 feet, I think. what was it? Airport elevation 14904. Lago Pupo. Thank you very much. Love the knowledge. 14904. So 60, 80, 100. So that's the closest we can get. The landing elevation for our arrival. Look at that. Oops. He says, as it's rendering in some photogrammetry in a weird block. Yeah, it is worrying. I had the ground proximity warning when I took off. David, I'm very well, thank you. How are you? I'm hoping that little that line fixes itself. I hope I can hide it on the screenshot. There we are. Position the plane over it, so it makes it look like it's not there. And there we are. Take a little screenshot for FlyUK. That's awesome. How do I get rid of it? Reese, so you've got to just let it stabilise itself. Paul, no, not streaming tomorrow, back to work. So streaming next week. After today. One thing I think is quite important when you're departing on these high altitude sort of areas is leaving the APU on and on bleed as well. So you get, as I mentioned on departure, you get the air conditioning powered via the APU, the pressurization system powered by the APU as well. Divin, awesome. Glad you're okay, and tuning in India, nice one. Mod Wage, welcome to the channel. Thanks for subscribing. Great to have everybody on board. How are we doing on speed here? It's crept up a little bit. Let's increase our range on the nav display as well. 320 should do it. Reese. Yeah, I've not had that yet. It's in maintenance, isn't it? Yeah, I'm all good. So what I did before departure, Reese, if you're in the CRJ, what I did before departure is I turned the cabin pressure all the way up to our departure altitude, so that the aircraft knows that it's landing at that airport elevation, basically. So that's why my pressurization is okay. If you've not set that yourself, it might be why you had an issue. Paul, yes. So that special stream is the 23rd of May. That's when we're doing that seminar or webinar. Really exciting, actually. I'm glad they approached us and asked me to do that. Really out of the blue. But I'm really looking forward to that. I love flying over unfamiliar places and wondering what's that. MSFS is amazing. It sure is. This is where FlyUK is really good for making you go around the world and sort of explore the simulator a little bit more, because we've got all of these different tours. The one we're doing today, of course, is Scenic South America, and it's given us the ability to come and check out these awesome new places. Speed check. That's holding quite nicely there, so we might have found the right M1 there. It's around about 80. We'll keep an eye on it. It looks like it could be creeping down ever so slightly, so we'd bring the M1 up another 1% basically to help. Oh, Reese, you could manually pressurize the aircraft in the overhead panel. Let's do 81% in one, shall we? Just trying to creep that power up a bit more. 82 maybe, because that speed's dropping off a bit. Mako, hello. No, I haven't. Bit of turbulence. The FlyUK is easy on the sim pilot, no problem at all. Cheers for tuning in. Hope you've got have a good day. So the Pilots of the Caribbean tour with FlyUK is really good. Alex, hello. It does sometimes, although yesterday we had all manner of problems as we were lining up for the ILS. So I ended up just disengaging the autopilot and flying it all the way in. Yeah, I must confess, I don't really watch many other channels' videos, to be honest. But I'll have a look. You're putting me to shame here, Max. I tried my hardest with my EGCC video. How are we doing? Yeah, the FlyUK Pilots of the Caribbean tour, it takes you from Miami to Jamaica, I think. But it basically takes you all the way around the Caribbean. So you start Jamaica, you start in Miami, and then you work your way down to Jamaica. You drop all the way down to Tobago, I think it is, or Trinidad and Tobago. Pretty sure it's Tobago, the island in particular. And then you work your way all the way up the island chain in the Caribbean, all the way back to Miami, and it's absolutely stunning. Max, yeah. Cheers. Alex, yeah, it's not ideal, is it, when that happens? Can't be, can't be avoided though, of course. Can't be helped. And if in doubt, I mean, yesterday it almost resulted in me having a missed approach, so I just disconnected it and flew it all the way in myself because it was just easier. Half of it was no doubt pilot error in that instance. I was obviously putting in the wrong inputs at the wrong time. The aircraft just wasn't responding quickly enough though, so it was kind of a compounding set of errors. It was just one thing going wrong after the next, which is why I just disconnected the autopilot and flew it in myself. It's just a bit easier. Otherwise I'd have to do I'd have to have done the full, whatchamacallit, missed approach procedure. And there was about 3 or 4 aeroplanes coming in behind as well, which I'd have scuppered them as well, so I was keen not to do that. I'm assuming this is salt flats. Alberto might be able to help with that, our Chilean resident in the channel community. Exo, didn't think much of the tours, glad I did them now, thanks for getting me into it, no problem at all. They're really good, aren't they? That's got to be some salt flats. Gridman, thank you very much. Couple of mountains down there, perhaps maybe a volcano or two. I'd have to Google it later. This has got to be some sort of salt bed. Stunning though. Thought it was snow from a distance. And yet ordinarily you wouldn't really enjoy the sim too much. Oh, look at that, that's a great little stream. So if I show you guys Volanta, you can see our route out of La Paz. We've flown that intercepted VOR outbound radial, and then we're flying south, so you can pretty much see our positions here. So there's one of the guys, Spirit, Paul B, John, Alphatic, and me. So actually our spacing, it looks pretty good in that instance. In that case, I'm going to get back up to cruise speed, because otherwise we're going to get problems bunching up. Ah, there we go. So they were salt flats. Nice one. Yeah, Lauren had a lot of facts for us yesterday, didn't she? It's great. So they are salt flats, and it looks stunning. John's asking, how have I set my icing effects in MSFS when flying the CRJ? So I've got icing set to visual only. Let's see, I want max 7.9. But a lot of people quite easily get some issues with icing in the CRJ because it's actually invisible on the aeroplane itself. So even if you have icing, it appears completely invisible, which is quite difficult when you're trying to troubleshoot issues when you've got problems with the aeroplane. But in the overhead, make sure windshield heats on low at minimum all times, your probe heats are on, and if you're flying through cloud, then you want wing icing on, and if you're descending through cloud, you put cowl icing on as well. But ordinarily, when I've had icing problems, I get this button here turn on. Which is a bit of a reminder to me, but it doesn't always work. But I've had it icing set to visual only the whole time really, because it's just a bit of a pain in the backside in the sim at the moment. It's a shame we can't just turn it off entirely. SANT is where we're going, and yeah, as Paul's saying, I think it may be runway 20, and the METAR for arrival is 200 degrees at 5 knots. 2,500 meters visibility in drizzle, broken cloud, and overcast at 400 feet, 17 degrees Celsius, QNH 1015. It's going to be really difficult then to do the ILS. I think we're going to have to. Hopefully this doesn't bug out on us. Max, no problem. Cheers. And I look forward to seeing some more progress on your third secret airport project that you're working on. Very exciting. So 205. Let's have a little look then. Oh, it's a VOR only approach. Oh man. So we can't do circle to land because we don't have the runway visual range. And also, as John's saying, no ILS on 20. Good grief. I'm just looking at the charts now, and the runway visual range is 2,700 meters, and the METAR is 2,500. So actually, that's below the minimum for arrival as well. Oh man. So, sheesh. What are we gonna do? I think we're coming in for the Pompey 4 Papa arrival. Which is via Pompey. Which is there. We have to be at Tuck 50 at 11,000, so that's bang on as well for the V-speed stuff, the VNAV stuff. How's our speed? Oh, so it's just at the top of the band. and then looking to come in for a straight in via TUC for that final approach fix. Let's show you guys Navigraph while I chat about it. So here's the arrival procedure via Pompey 4 Papa. Airport elevation 1494 at the top. And we're flying in Pompey, Tuck. We're tracking that Tucuman VOR 1141. So at 50 miles from that VOR, we want to be at or above flight level 110. We've got terrain here as well, so the light orange on the colour code means that it is 11,000. So actually, we're probably going to want to be a bit higher than that. There's certainly a bit of red there, which is 19,000. So we've got to be careful actually, it's going to be quite a tricky approach. And it could slip away from us quite quickly. And then we want VOR Zulu with a course of 201. So you're going to get a live demonstration for a very low visibility VOR approach in the CRJ. 357 and 328J, what are those? D357J there, at or above 3,500. So that's where the start ends. And this radial here of 357, D357J, is the initial approach fix. So we're going to come in and we're going to turn to fly this ever so slight bit of radial, 10-mile arc, and then fly the initial fix from 10 miles down. 10 miles, it's a step from 4,300 to 4,200, and then at 8.6, 4,200, and a 3.5 degree glide slope down for approach. MDA of 1,990, runway visual range of 2,700 metres for Class C, which is actually below what we've got for Viz today, apparently, according to the METAR, so that's going to be interesting. If live weather's working, of course. Reese, VOR Zulu. Paul, it's only a 5-knot wind. Yeah, you're right. We could go with the tailwind. I'll go with the general consensus of what people want. We could either do the VOR or we could do the ILS. Let's have a little look at these charts here for that. And while we do that, let's look at the radio page. We want to make sure we've got 1141. Tune that into VOR1 ready. XO's going for 20 for the ILS. For the VOR, it's going for the challenge. Alberta, no problem at all. Have a good one. We'll go for the difficult one then. Why not? We'll go for that VOR one live, shall we? The VOR Zulu, the CRJ. I don't think I've done it live yet. What's the worst that could happen? John, yeah, minimums are too low, to be fair. That's the only thing that's got me thinking, really. So technically it should be the ILS. It says visibility 2,500 metres, and the VOR Zulu minimums are 2,700 metres for category C. John's going to go for the VOR as well, nice. And yeah, that's a good shout, that's a good way of doing it. If you have to go around, configure for the ILS. So going around for this thing, because I might have to do it myself, and then we'll have to ditch and go for 2-0. We pretty much just fly runway heading almost. We slight offset left turn, track of 197 to the missed approach fix of Ilmev, and then we fly the hold at Ilmev at flight level 70, and then whilst we just fly that hold, we'll configure for the ILS approach instead. Where's that in relation to it actually? Ilmev. Okay, so that's good. So Ilmev is going to be a little bit further away from the ILS. Sweet. Yeah, so that'll work. We'll go with VOR Zulu, runway 20 for now. And if it all goes Pitong, if it all goes wrong, we will switch and do the ILS, like John suggested there. I like that idea. Try one, failing that, we'll land with the tailwind of the ILS. This might be where our spacing actually for the departure has helped us quite considerably. And you can see in about 280 to 300 miles we've got that first entry point for the star, Pompey. It's telling us 37 minutes to go there. So we've got the VOR tuned. We're probably going to want that in as a primary actually. Where is it? 1141. Yep. That's set. There aren't any other frequencies for us. Airport elevation of 14904. So we've got 1500 in landing elevation. We are a long way off yet though, but I like to have it ready, especially for VOR. And we need to select, we've got the Pompey 4 and we're going for the VOR Zulu via Delta 357 Juliet and the Pomp 4 Papa. I wonder if this is going to let us put it in here. No. Oh well. Landing elevation's correct though. Lock true bearing. That's obviously going to be blank. Let's just check our legs. We've got 2 Pompeys. So let's clear the discontinuity. And let's clear that Pompey. Hit execute just to neaten up. Tuck 50, which is 50 miles from the Tucuman VOR. Yes, Matt's good point. Yeah, we've I updated that before actually, before today's flight. The latest air rack. Delta 357 Yankee, 357 Oscar, and then Juliet. And then we've got the final approach fix. And there's our missed approach. In fact, there we go. Hold at Ilmev. So I could just put nav back on. And it's going to hold automatically for us. So this might be a great test actually as to whether or not that works. If we have to go around. I'm looking forward to this. It's going to be a bit of a test. Also new FS 2020 update. Oh, of course, yeah, for the new air rack cycle. That N1 seems to be nice and stable for us at the moment. Yeah, so as Doctor on board saying there, the real world runway in use is 02 at the moment, and that's obviously going to be the primary runway, or the default runway if you like. So because we've only got a tailwind of 5 knots, it may well be that they're just using that instead. but it's also nice to have a bit of a challenge. It's nice to be flying during a MSFS update as well, without worrying about the sim breaking. Runway 02 is definitely going to be the easier one anyway because of the... have we got this on live weather? We have, yeah. I think live weather's down. Then we have got some clouds, haven't we? Ooh, it's a strange view. Got to be down because where are we flying at the moment? Let's see if we can pull the latest METAR. What airport's that? SLUY. Okay, no, fair enough. That's all the 9s. Oh wait, that's already behind us. SASJ. That's all the 9s. Oh man. And then SANT. Maybe the METAR's changed. Now winds are 180 at 4 knots. But still 2,500 metres with light drizzle, broken cloud. Actually now it's even worse. It's overcast at 300 foot. This happened the last time we were flying in as well. We were flying into the PAZ and we had awful weather, so we missed most of the scenery. Get a bit bumpy. Wayne, that's good to know. What's the next leg then, out of curiosity? What's the point? Did I put the right arrival runway in? Yeah, VOR Zulu 20. XA, you confused me there for a minute. Had me on a mild panic. 160 miles to Sal, and then 16 miles from Sal to Pohnpei. So if the weather renders in and it's as bad as it says it is, we'll probably end up doing a missed approach, and we'll then put the aircraft back into nav mode to see if so we're going to have to really carefully plan for this missed approach. Then we're basically going to see if we put it back into nav, if it automatically recognises the go around and enters the hold itself. If it does that, my mind will be blown. And then whilst we're flying the hold quite happily, I'll configure for the ILS instead as a backup approach, which will be interesting as well because everybody else is going to be flying in on the opposite runway if that happens. Tucuman to Assumption, awesome! Oh nice, that sounds great, I can't wait for that. That's our next leg then after completing this one. I do like these FlyUK tours. What we got, 83% N1, and we're sort of holding quite nicely at max 7.9, just at the top end of that. I'm tempted, because this is actually all correct, I'm tempted to put it into VNAV, so you can click that VNAV button there, and coupled VNAV. I'm tempted to see how it acts, to see if it just automatically allows itself to descend. And it'd be great if it does. But then I quite like doing it the proper way. That speed tape's just drifted up a little bit, so it's just ever so slightly bring back the throttle. One click. So there we are, just dropped it by about 0.4% for N1. That's fantastic. Don't get scenery like this in Europe or anything like that. I'm yet to do some Canadian flights actually, so that's also going to be on the list. At least you know they're nice and crisp. Wait, that's making a mess of that. There we are. Bit turbulent again. Next week we've got the ground controller live session again, so I need to schedule that. So we're going to have ground clearance delivery and tower on at Birmingham for around about 2 to 3 hours on some point next week. I think it's the 29th, I think I've got it scheduled for. Trying to organise that so it's once weekly, once monthly. So it looks like we're going over these mountains and then we're going to descend over the other side of it into Tucuman. Gridiman, AREX isn't available for South America. Sadly, it's just North America and now Europe. I've actually got a problem with my AREX. There seems to be a mod clash. I can't work out what it is. And I know some have said that their Pilot Plus London-Oxford scenery has caused the issue. So I need to delete that and have a little look really. Because at the moment I can't get any AREX ground equipment at any airport in the UK. It's either going to be Pilot Plus causing the problem, or it's going to be MK Studios Dublin, because I've noticed that they've got a load of custom Aer Lingus ground equipment at the airport. But something's blocking AREX from working across the whole of the UK and Ireland for me at the moment. Everywhere else it seems to work fine. Particularly good in Germany as well, I've got to say. It's Lively, good morning. How are you? Lively, nice one. Yeah, Gridiman, it's there. Basically, there's an airport I've got installed, or something I've got installed, that has got in the background some custom vehicles added into it, and that's what's breaking the AREX. But I need to work out what it is. I'm not quite sure how. But as I said, it works everywhere else across Europe. Sal 55, Pompey, 121 to Sal. 120, good stuff. Okay, that makes sense. So it was not only EGBB, yeah, I think my mind's slipping. That looks properly realistic. remove the airport. Yeah, I'll have to. I've got so much in my community folder, that's the problem. I've deleted my, you know, there was a mod, wasn't there, on FlightSim.to, and it gave you the ground, painted ground equipment. So there was the Gate Gourmet fuel truck, and Shell and BP fuel trucks, and Gate Gourmet catering truck. I deleted those, removed those when I installed RX, so I know it's not that. John, it is indeed. How are you getting on? Top tip in the cruise, set an N1 that holds the speed, depending on what flight level you're at. So run about 34,000 feet, for example, 33, 34, 35,000, you want 83% N1. Where are we now? We're at 37,000 and we're holding 83%, 82.8% N1, and we're just holding the speed quite nicely. So we can enjoy some of the custom views and some of the scenery. Exo, I have a question. How can we see the distance to VOR in the CRJ, like where? So you've got to be in range, and you've got to make sure that you've tuned the VOR as well using the radio panel. So 114.1 for Tucuman, but you can also enter it in down here, 114.1. Make sure they match. And then what you will need to do is, when you get closer, you're going to want to select nav source across to VOR, because then you're going to want to align the course needle. In relation to how far, what have I got set? VOR1 and VOR2. So let's have a little look here. VOR2, we're still too far away at the moment, so it'll give us a needle to that VOR as a bit of an indication of range, but no distance yet, until we change the mode in nav source. Exo's gone low at 31,000, nice. How are we doing on the overhead? Looking good. There's our cool cockpit view. And it looks like potentially there's some cloud forming ahead of us, so it might well be that we're going to push this into that missed approach, automated missed approach and hold in the FMS, which is going to be cool to see. Pompey 2 Kilo Star. Goodman, yeah, I don't have those either. It's going to be an airport that I've got installed. I hope it's not Pilot Plus, because I love that scenery. Same with MK Studios Dublin. I actually tried to film there, but there was a load of Aer Lingus steps, and I thought that they were the same. I thought that was the mod working, but it wasn't. It was actually the scenery. So I suspect the problem lies with their scenery there, which is a shame. I'll have to figure out somehow. X is going to land anyway. I mean, there's potential that you guys are about to see it go horribly wrong for me when I start to try and approach. Actually, we're getting close here now. Tuck 50. What are we saying for that then? Pompey 4. John, make sure you've set up for your Pompey 2K star. Make sure you've selected the VOR Zulu if you're doing that, because if not, it will force you to use a different arrival instead of Pompey 4 Papa. So that could be the issue there. 160 to Tuck 50. We've got to be at flight level 110 or above, and I was going to aim for about flight level 140, I think. So when we reach this next waypoint of Sal, we're going to start descent, I think. Well, that might be a little bit high. Maybe just before that. Gridman, you always want to see me sweat and get into difficulty. Here comes that weather starting to build in. So live weather's working perfectly at the moment then, if that's the case. And it's interesting, you can see it building up against the ridge of the mountains. And then the other side, clear. Live weather's fantastic these days. I've pretty much completely stopped using Unreal Weather these days. Don't need to use it anymore. Configuring early is going to be key for this as always, just to give us more time to help get everything settled down. Wow, look at that. Reese, exactly. And we've actually got it in here. So we've got a progress page just here, and you can see exactly 107 miles to Pompey, SANT 231 miles to the actual airport, and our alternate as well. If we activate the alternate, then it will activate that as well. Somebody flying ahead, flying a DC-3. I wish we could see it. Yeah, the mountains are going to be particularly important for us to manage. But Pompey's there, it's showing we're 14 minutes to go to Pompey. How's our speed looking? So, dead centre in the band, but it's obviously dripping away slightly, so we're just going to have to monitor that. Sal coming up, and what else? Landing elevation's done. That's all pretty much done as well. We've got 1141. We're still too far away for the VOR. Our legs. We've got the missed approach activated there potentially, if that all goes wrong for us. Hold at Ilmev. We might have to use that today, and then we're going to work out very quickly work out how it's going to work. What have we got here? Oh, that can't be right. 35, Pompey. Yeah, John's in the middle. Flight plan, legs. So that's correct, that's showing tuck 50 at or above 11,000. But terrain is at 11,000, so we don't want to do that. Flight plan. Draw a 10-mile circle around there. Just leave that on there for now. I think we're pretty much setting up for everything else. I'm very tempted to put that on auto. $80 miles to tuck 50, so let's do 19,000. How are we doing for the mountains actually? We're well clear of those. Bring the speed down. Yep, I think this live weather's going to cause us a bit of a problem today. What's our reference speeds? And we've got 134 VREF. So we'll call it 140 for approach. Put that little 10-mile ring in, so you can see that little green ring there. That's going to help us with our 10-mile. I think it was a 10-mile VOR. Is it 10-mile arc? Yes, it was. Good. So that's going to help us fly that arc for that final part. $80 miles to tuck 50. And we want to be at 16,000, shall we? So let's target that. There we go. Legs. Refresh the meta. Still just as bad as it was before. QNH 1015. Philip, yeah, go for it. Just passing. We're passing SAS J now, I think. I might be wrong. Exo, how do you do that circle? So, find your waypoint in your legs. So, for example, I've done tuck, select it, so click the button next to it, go to fix, and then click the top left button and it adds it in as the reference. It then gives you a whole load of data, and if you want a 10-mile ring around the VOR, you just type in 10, add it into the radial, click there and click execute, job done, and then you get your little 10-mile ring. I will do a tutorial on it. And what that does then in your flight plan, you will see it as we get closer, there will be a green ring at 10 miles around the VOR, so it's telling us a bit of a visual clue exactly where that 10-mile radial is. So that's just going to help us navigate. What I could also do, I could put another one in if I wanted to, I think. Where's the charts here? 21 and approach. VOR Zulu. We'd have to fly out to 20 miles until Ilmev, radial of 1907, which is basically just a straight line all the way to Ilmev for missed approach fix, and then reconfigure for the ILS to 02 instead. So I could put a ring in, potentially, he says. Yeah, so I could put a second ring in, let's do that in case of a go around, because let's face it, we might have to do that today. Legs, tuck, fix, second page, reference, and where was it? It was 20. Execute. So now we've got 2 rings. If I zoom out, there you go, you can see we should have, can't really see it there because of how it looks. We've either overridden one or put the other one in. Let's see. Can't do much more. Watch that speed. 40 miles to tuck 50. Bit high. But if we can get a continuous descent all the way in, then that's going to be fine. VOR Zulu, so it's a course of 201. I'm actually going to cheat. So heading. I'm going to set that up now. Okay, good, so they're actually mirrored. Oops. Yeah. Cool. Let's go back onto FMS and back onto nav mode. You can see some of the hills there. That's the mountain range at 19,000 feet that we have to fly over at Tuck 50 by the looks of it. But it'll be fun. Tucuman, Argentina, and just about to enter the star in 20 miles. If you're tuning in for the first time, then say hello in the live chat. Please do make sure you click subscribe down below while you're here as well. And if you guys haven't done so already, click like while you're here as well, and let YouTube know that you've enjoyed today's stream. So as a reminder for the METAR, comparing it to the charts, it's actually, the visibility is 200 meters less than the minimum. So we might have to abort the approach and land on 02 with the ILS instead. But we'll find out. If we do that, we're going to make use of the automated we'll make use of the automated missed approach feature in the nav and see if that works. EXO can see me. It's never a good sign. It means he's getting close. Well, Argentina, here we go. Yeah, Paul, I think it's going to be fine as well. Range. What's after Tucuman? Leo, good morning. How are you? Cheers for tuning in. I hope you're okay. Flight level 75 is next, or at or above. Ooh, actually. Tuck 50 and 20. Are we going to meet that? Maybe we are, maybe we won't. We're going to have to just monitor that, and then we're going to have to make sure we go straight into the next phase, which is 7,500. There's our banana to show where our top of descent's going to be. Cesar, good question. The alternate is Sierra Alpha November Romeo, Tomas de Rio Hondo International. And I'm not quite sure where that is in relation to us. Winds are almost calm, so we're only doing the VOR just for a bit of a challenge. We could quite happily do the ILS with a slight tailwind if we have to, so we should be okay. Leo, yes, it's 3 o'clock almost UK time today. Turbulence. Where is our alternate? Let's have a quick look. Oh, it's pretty much exactly due south from us, so that's fine. 170 degrees track by the looks of it to SANR if that all goes horribly wrong for us. So, all good. Oh, awesome, Leo. Transition 1015. 1015. I don't think I set the transition altitude, but hey ho. Let's continue our descent. We're going to be well clear of the terrain down below. That's 16,000 feet here, or 11,000 feet, I should say. So now we can start to bring our speed back a bit. Let's target 245. Here comes the weather. So a reminder for those of you who didn't catch the beginning, let's have a quick look at the navigaph as we make our way in. There's our position currently relative to the Pompey 4 Papa arrival, and we're passing 50 miles from Tucuman VOR. Heading in, tracking 25 miles, 15 miles at 10, and then Delta 357 Juliet. 10 miles, that's the initial approach fix. We're going to break off for the VOR Zulu approach. We're going to fly this very short 10-mile arc, before then flying our final approach with a course of 201 degrees for the Tucuman VOR Zulu, and the frequency is 114.1. The weather is 200 meters below minimums, so if that's the case and we start to struggle to see, then we're going to have to go around, missed approach all the way down to Ilmev, configure for the ILS and come in on the ILS for 02 instead, because winds are pretty much calm, so we could do either. We're just doing the VOR for the challenge How are we doing here on speed? That's looking good. And we're going to want to continue down to 5,300. So actually I've potentially timed this quite nicely for a continual approach. Or continuous descent rather. 5,300. Then what have we got here? Down to 4,300 for the 10 miles. Leave those charts up. Down to 240 knots. And about to pass through some clouds. So, Microsoft Flight Simulator, wing icing on. And we'll put the cowl icing on as well. And we're going to pass below 10,000, so let's get the lights on. Turning them on a little earlier than usual, of course, though. I can't see my little 10-mile ring that I've put in for the fix. There's an aeroplane ahead of us, apparently. Is he ahead or is he? No, he's right behind. Who's that then? TCAS is telling me he's below. Can't see any lights. I don't know. Leo, not a list as such, no. There's our ring. Lovely. There's our 10-mile ring. Bit of throttle. And in we go. Exo's definitely about to smash past me. TCAS is showing that he's pretty much directly below me now. Can't see where he is. Model matching's fine. Leo, I think one or two of the flights end in Brazil actually. I think it ends in Brasilia. From memory. Ooh, lightning. Ah, Exo's above me. I'm slowing down for the arrival. Matthew's asking, any improvements to mod matching lately? No, it's one of those things we just have to wait for the simulator to be to give us more models. So more aircraft coming out and things. That's what we've got to wait for, sadly. Let's level off here. Whoops. I can see that hill, and that looks ominous. Let's climb. Climb gate. Where's my ground charts? Right, so that's saying that that's around 7,000 feet. So 8,000 should have us clear. Help if we had a bit of TCAS, a bit of terrain ground proximity warning stuff. Matthew, no, I don't really use the IVAO model matching stuff myself. There's a link in our Discord server that takes you to some model matching. We're going to be just over these mountains. But then I use my own that I've downloaded from flightsim.co, which doesn't use the IVAO models. There's our 10-mile fixed ring, look, you can see there it's almost drawn our 10-mile radial quite nicely for us. EXO's skipped ahead of us. Wayne, there we go, thank you very much. So yeah, we've got 4 airports in Brazil that we're going to be touching on. Some lightning there. There's a bit of ground down there. This is ominously murky. It's a shame we can't see if we're going to hit the ground. You know what I haven't done? Minimums MDA 1990. Come on, chop, chop, chop. $19.90. Let's get rid of the DH here. We just want MDA. I wish I could see a bit clearer here. Heading mode, make sure the bug's resynced. Nav source, VOR1 with 12 miles from the airport. And turning. 4,300 is next. Oops. Tucuman traffic, Skyways 4944 is inbound on the 10-mile VOR radial for runway 20 VOR Zulu. Performance, let's set VREF. And we want reverse thrusters armed, that's all configured. We want cowl anti-icing off.
Tucuman traffic, Skyways 1808 is inbound on the 10-mile radius arc for runway 02 for
And now I've changed the format range because I'm trying to intercept this VOR approach. There's the airport on the runway. Okay, so we're good. Tucuman traffic, Skyways 4944 is on finals, 7 miles.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to land. Please remain seated until
Need some drag. So, we're flying this manually now. Minimums is absolutely fine. If I put it on unreal weather though, I imagine it's pretty miserable weather for us. Set trim for this descent here. Still looking quite high. Let's turn the flight director off because that's quite distracting.
Sink rate.
It's because I just dropped down below 5 there. Full flaps.
1,000.
Reese, always very late there. Let's see.
Sink rate.
I keep forgetting about that stuff.
Sink rate.
We're fine. Just letting us, that sink rate drift down a little bit. Bit of trim.
Sink rate.
Definitely
Sink
too
rate.
high on that approach, really.
500. Sink rate.
So there's our approach speed of
400.
140.
Sink rate.
We're
300.
fine.
Sink rate.
200.
Sink rate.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Whee, look at that, smooth. Reverse. Oh, Exo's on short finals.
Please remain seated until the aircraft has come to a complete stop.
Tucuman traffic, Skyways 4944 is vacating right on Alpha.
Tucuman traffic, Skyways 1808 on final for runway 02.
He's just got down there. Let's get the APU open.
Correction, runway 20.
APU is in by SAV open and APU starts. I've recorded it. He looks high. I was very high there, to be fair, as well. I had to use flaps and things to configure to help me get down there. Like gear down early for a bit of extra drag and things. Let's have a little look here then. Taxiing on Alpha all the way to the stand. There's just a jetty with nothing. Very bizarre. APU's open and avail. Where shall we park? The sim's got us over there, look. Out of the way, forklift. It's a stalemate. We'll watch Exo land. Here he comes. And then once we park up, shut down, we'll have a little look at the landing rate that we achieved. Short runway, so actually how long is it? Oh no, it's a long runway, 3,500 metres. Thunder. Here comes Exo. Can't remember if he said he was in a CRJ, but he's displayed as a FlyUK A320, or if it's me. We should have a steady stream of folk coming in behind us. There's other about, so that's VATSIM not playing ball properly. That's just VATSIM not syncing properly there.
Tucuman traffic, Skyways 1808 is vacated runway.
And now we've just got to wait for the other guys. That dude's out of the way. Oh, awesome. That mountain range down there with a cloud. It's great. Not quite sure what these are doing. He's my marshaller. He's not even my marshaller. I'm not quite sure what they're expecting. XO, you're enjoying the scenery then, the scenic approaches and the South America tour. Let's park this bird up. Stand 1. That'll do, I think. So, APU is available. Right engine stop. Fuel cut off. Beacon off. And let's turn the taxi lights off as well because I forgot. Let's get that door open.
Ladies and gentlemen, the door is open. Please make your way to the exit and please make sure you have all your personal items and carry-on luggage.
Paul's on the way in. That's the old FlyUK livery. Can't quite get that right in the model matching at the moment. All I remember actually is stop the flight recording. It's 1 hour 54 on the clock. Let's see what happens with the CRJ here if I try and get things like catering or baggage. We have baggage. We don't have catering. Oh, we do have catering. Let's fire them up. Reese is at Pompey. Cool, everybody's coming in quite nice and quick here. That's good. I had a little moment where I thought it was going to go to an invisible rear door there, so it's not. And you know what I've noticed? The APU valve is open on this, so they've actually modelled that in. That is incredible. You know what I've just remembered? I've recorded the landing on the flight replay, but I've shut the engines down. Let's position for catching some of these approaches. While we wait, let's have a little look at Reese. Yeah, there's somebody in a DC-3 flying along very slowly. Let's check out Volanta. I'm the first person to arrive there today. There's Philip as well. So there's two. Pompey. Is Paul coming in as well? And we've got John flying in too. So that's all of us. SJ. So yeah, perfect. Review the flight. And 200 foot per minute, 0.99G. I'm well happy with that. That's bang on. Couldn't ask for much more. And managed to fly that pretty nice and straight, actually. It's a slight offset VOR I noticed, which is why initially we were a little bit far out. Yeah, awesome. And I'm glad the weather made me be able to see that bit of terrain, because I'd have crashed into that otherwise. FCS, hello. I have a question. My MSFS always crashes when I enter the menu. This happens if a new world update is released. How do I know if I can fix it? What mods do you have installed that might affect the model matching? What mods do you have installed that might affect the load screen? Do you have anything at all, like custom load screens, or do you have any aircraft mods that might be broken? Because it will load all of that in whilst the sim is actually loading when you first open it, and if any are broken, it will just crash to desktop. So it's definitely going to be something that you've downloaded that doesn't work properly, or is like a dodgy rip from a payware company uploaded to a website like MSFS add-ons. Anything from MSFS add-ons generally is either got a virus in it or it's stolen from somewhere else. So I really strongly advise avoiding websites like that. It's almost guaranteed, FCS, your problem is going to be a mod that's not working like it should. Paul, yeah, we've got some great thunder and lightning going on. FCS, what liveries do you have installed? Nothing else. There must be something that's in there. It's hard to see without. It's hard to work out without seeing actually what's in your community folder. You can see a light over there, just on the. I just saw a little flicker of a landing light just coming up to that first entry point for the 10 DME. Radio, and here's John with his door open. I don't know why the AI CRJs do this, but he's definitely not got his door open. Failing that, FCS, it might be worth looking at updating your NVIDIA driver or your Windows. Maybe one of those is causing a bit of a problem. John, that is looking smooth. You'll have to ignore the doors. That's just Microsoft Flight Simulator being strange. The chocks. Seems to do that with a lot of CRJs. There we go. Not sure where he's going. Oh, he's vacated on that high speed exit. Like a pro. EXO, I'm not sure. While we wait for the next landing, I'll have a little look at my model matching file. Because there's got to be a problem. It's basically reading the wrong thing, or it's putting its own thing in. Oh, EXO, yeah, that's why. Yeah, if your aircraft type's still showing as A20N, then it's going to have you shown as an A320. 2 more to land.
Tucuman traffic
So Latin VFR have actually responded to me. They've watched my video, and for the AREX stuff, and they watched the live stream yesterday as well. We landed at Birmingham with no customised ground vehicles, and they've actually said that it is the Pilot Plus UK airports. They've put their own custom airport vehicles in, and because of that, it's causing problems with AREX Europe, which is really interesting to know. So that's what I thought was the case. They've emailed me saying that that is the case, which is great. Although it's a bit of a shame in a way, because it means I have to remove my Pilot Plus London Oxford scenery and then put it back in again if I want to use it. How are we doing for arrivals here? So we've got Paul on finals now, and then we've got 2 that are in the star. Exo Senate should be fixed. Let's have a little look then. Is there 3 CRJs? Oh, look at that. Yes, there is. God, this weather. Madness. There's Paul. Slight offset to the right hand side. Just there, if you can see the light on the cursor. Hopefully you guys can see the light. Here he comes. Is it going to be Butter or is it going to be Ryanair? He's in an A320, so there should be no excuses for a good landing. Let's have a quick look to see what the next leg will be. I can't remember. Somebody mentioned it a minute ago. So what the next leg is going to be for another day. Scenic South America Class D Tour. And yeah, it's that's one. I forgot. Yep. Tucuman to Asunción, which is going to be stunning. 1 hour 20-minute flight time. And then we got Asunción to Montevideo, Montevideo to Porto Alegre in Brazil, Porto Alegre to Sao Paulo, Sao Paulo to Brasilia, and then Brasilia to Salvador. So the last 3 hops are all Brazil. Oh, it's an Osprey. Lovely. Look at this. The Sims best livery. And a wonderful landing as well from one of our senior pilots. Looking real smooth there. In his gold frequent flyers livery for Paul. That Asunción leg's going to be great. 1 hour 20 minutes, and it's pretty much just heading due west almost. There we go. If you guys want to get your hands on the liveries for the channel, you can get the frequent flyer liveries. So where the gold stripes are, they're a light blue instead. And you've got the Osprey on the front too. You can download those via our Discord server for free. And then you can use the 3-letter code of BVX, Bravo Victor X-ray, and our channel call sign, channel community call sign of Osprey. Assumption, I think, is Paraguay. Here he comes. EXO, no, not today. John, you did well. Simdad, hello, welcome. We've just landed in Tucuman, Argentina, northern Argentina. And we've got 2 aircraft left to come in. We've got Philip, and who else have we got? We've got 4 down at the moment. We're going to fill up the airport. And Reese. And they should pretty much almost be on finals. Oh, next time. It depends what I've got planned for the day, really. Sometimes we could fit in 2 sectors. The next sector on after that, though, is 2 hours. So it's a short sector, Tucuman to Assumption for 1 hour 20. The next one after that is 1 hour 50. So it's a little difficult. Wondering where to park. We're just going to have to just stick it wherever you can. There's 21 pilots at the moment at FlyUK that are currently doing this tour, and the total distance approximately is 5,370 nautical miles with a total duration of 16 hours 30 minutes with 11 unique airports, which is really cool. And they've got tons of tours. Oh, here we go. Here comes Reese. And Philip should be right behind. Yes, he is. Literally like 1 to 2 minutes behind. So he'll be positioning onto finals as well. Look at that, we couldn't have timed this any better. Yellow, banana yellow clad Spirit Airlines jet. Sadly an IVAO model, I think it is. Well, it's from the MSFS model matching server that a few people have created. So it's not the best, no lights. And now I believe just Philip. And I can't re-record, I can't replay our landing because I've turned the engines off, so I broke the flight recorder app, which is a shame. But we could see on Volanta it was nice and smooth. Let's get rid of Navigraph. You have to have a little think to what for what tour to do next after this. Actually, put all of our heads together. Could do Let's Do Alaska. Well, no, we can't do that because that's light aircraft. Can't do that one either. So some of them have got specific things that you can only use with certain aeroplanes. So you've got to look from Class D and above, really. The Atlantic crossing, I've been told, is good.
Traffic Argentinian 5563 is on short final 5 miles for runway 20.
I think I'd quite like to do the Class D Pacific Clipper tour next. Trace the old Trans-Pacific Clipper route that the flying boats used to use. And that's an A320 or A319 only route. San Francisco to Honolulu, 6 hours. Whoa, that's a long one. Honolulu to Kiritiamati, 3 hours 25. Kiriti, Mati to Nadi, 5 hours 10. Okay, that's very long. Perhaps not. There's got to be something with more hops involved. The Atlantic crossing looks good. Multiple hops, 1 hour 10, 2 hour 40, 1 hour 40, 1 hour 40, 1 hour 40 and 2 hours 21. What aircraft? The CRJ 700 and the A320 are both included in that one. So we could do the Atlantic crossing, Southampton to Aberdeen, Aberdeen to Keflavik, Keflavik to Narsisquat, Narsisquat to Goose Bay, definitely saying that one wrong. Goose Bay to Halifax, Halifax to New Jersey. That's that route, that looks pretty cool. Here comes Philip. Canadian North, an 11,000 mile journey. But sadly, no aircraft for MSFS. That's the sad thing, some of these tours we just can't do them. And I think Philip's in a livery that I don't have. Here he is. Lovely. So I think we're all down. Let's grab a little group shot. Made a right mess of the park in there, that Spirit.
Agitated 5563, if I get the runway.
Pushback Express, let's just move that catering truck, shall we? It's the only thing with the CRJ, the baggage trucks kind of get in the way as well. So that's mucked up the screenshot somewhere. It'd be great when we get something like GSX. There we go. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I did muck up the timing somewhat, so we started the stream an hour before I realised. Matthew, how was the flight? Absolutely fine. It'd be great if we had a terrain radar though, because thankfully visually I could see that I descended a little bit too low for a hill. John might have failed his test. Whoops. Awesome. Yeah, the air bridge is a bit weird, isn't it? That's when you know you're in the middle of nowhere on an airport in Microsoft Flight Simulator, because you just have a air bridge to nowhere. But there we go, that's all of us parked up, which is good. I'm glad everybody could make it, having started a little earlier than I said I would. I meant to set a time for 1300 and for some reason I obviously clicked 1400, so I apologise for those of you who tuned in late, thinking it was a 2 o'clock start. William, hello, welcome. Just finishing, so say hello and say goodbye. Yeah, hope you all enjoyed it. Cheers everybody for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the like button while you're here, and also if you're new, very warm welcome. Please do click subscribe before you go anywhere else. Join us next week. We're going to be doing 1 or 2 live streams, including a Birmingham live with a clearance delivery and tower controller and me as ground, so we'll have 3 controllers minimum as well, which is quite cool. So tune in for that, and we're also going to plan some flights somewhere. Not quite sure yet where yet. If you've got any suggestions or ideas, let me know in our Discord server. Hope you'll enjoy the weekend coming up as well. I'm working sadly, so no live streams from me this weekend. Hope to see you all next week, some point midweek, for the next set of live streams. Thanks all for watching, and Matt's of course, thanks for your donations, and Thomas as well, thanks for your donation as well, really kind, supporting the stream as always. MMG, yeah, a little late. Not to worry, you can watch it back in due course another time. cheers for those guys who flew with us as well. Hope you all enjoyed it too. And see you all soon. Thanks for watching. Take care.